It's not a human. It is a human. It's a clump of cells. It has a soul. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Today's videos is going to be a little bit heavy, but that's what this channel is for. If you didn't know, abortion is illegal in Malaysia currently, but that wasn't always the case. Right now, exceptions are made if the mother's life is at risk. But before we get into that, I believe that abortion affects every member of the community. It takes one person with XX chromosome and another person with an XY chromosome combined together to make a mistake. For women to say that men don't have a say in abortion is kind of sexist, because right now you are trying to deny our voice just based on biological differences. Now that is sexist, unless we're talking about periods. And we don't want you to have periods, and I'm sure you don't want periods too, but that's beyond our control. Now, you may have an opinion on abortion. Chances are you might fall under pro-life or pro-choice. Pro-life means that you are against abortion, but of course with obvious exceptions if the mother's life is at risk. Pro-choice means that abortion is acceptable in any given circumstances. The people who fall under pro-choice usually have two arguments. One, a fetus is not a human, and two, the mother's life, who is a living, actual human being, is a lot more important than something that is still not human. So based on these two, we got arguments like it's not murder because it's just a clump of cells. So it's the same as you clipping off your nails or cutting your hair. So to them, it's no different than removing a tumor. And another argument would revolve around how having a baby actually stops the women from reaching their goals, like career prospects, educational pursuits. And some of these women would also opt for abortion in cases where they feel like they can't provide the child a life that they deserve, like a father or a financially stable household. Pro-choice groups also emphasize that it is up to the women to do what she wants to her body, because by the end of the day, it's her life. The life of a living human being is a lot more important than the life of a clump of cells, which is yet to become a living human being. That pretty much sums up pro-choice. Pro-lifers, on the other hand, emphasizes one argument, which is the unborn baby has the right to live. To them, life begins at conception, and aborting that life is equivalent to murder. And some also have obvious religious reasons. What people can't seem to agree with is that at what point does a child becomes human? At what point does it have a soul? Or at what point does it feel pain? And of course, at what point is it considered murder? As of now, we don't know, and both sides can't seem to agree. And obviously we don't have any scientific measurement to tell us at which point does the soul enters the body, right? So a soul is something that you can't quantify. And of course it may differ according to your beliefs. We've looked into specific points where the unborn child starts to feel pain, which is in the third trimester, but it doesn't accurately, appease the soul argument. Now here's what I have to say. Fuck the soul argument. We can't objectively measure that anyway. There are many arguments, many words, many points used to support pro-choice movements. But for a pro-lifer, it only takes one picture. And this picture alone is enough for them to prevent other expecting mothers from committing murder. Because for them, when they see this picture, they see a living human being. And honestly, the line is drawn by how you see this picture. Is it human? Is it not human? Does it deserve the right to live? But you see, the purpose of this video is not to outline the arguments, it's to introduce you a new narrative, my narrative. And that is identifying the root cause of the problem, which in my opinion is not unwanted pregnancy. The root cause of the problem is that women have the need to go for abortion. And what's the need, you ask? Is the disadvantages posed to expecting mothers. So rather than listing out the problems that women face from unplanned pregnancy, why not we actually do something to address those problems? Like, why does a woman have to choose between her career and motherhood? Why can't she go to university while raising a child at the same time? Why can't the child have access to a conducive environment where he can end up growing into a normal, happy, and productive member of society? To me, abortion treats the symptoms, but what are we doing to actually remove the need for them to have an abortion in the first place? If we manage to remove that need, if we are more accepting of pregnancies outside of marriages, we would have this argument. And honestly, to me, and I know I'm a man, but that is the pinnacle of female empowerment, where abortion is illegal unless it poses a risk to the woman's life and she chooses abortion in order to save her life. Now that is choice. And of course, in that instance, the man should just shut the fuck up because, that's her life we're talking about. But, again, there are women who are willing to risk childbirth and die in order to bring new life into the world. So again, it depends on women to women. Not all women think the same, obviously. I hope that the advances in medical science can reduce the risk of pregnancy to a 0%. But we don't live in that world. We still live in a world where women feel that pregnancy is some form of a liability, especially unplanned pregnancy. But I don't know, we could always just commercialize artificial wombs. For me, I guess I'm pro-life in the sense that I want women to be able to have babies and not feel like it's a liability. But I'm pro-choice in the sense that women just don't live in that idealistic world just yet. And until that world comes to reality, until society realizes that that's what we should, spend our energy on, the abortion law in Malaysia today, that is the best form of compromise that we could possibly have. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you've learned something new, and if you felt like your stance in abortion has changed, then let me know in the comments. Like maybe throughout this that you're pro-life but now you're pro-choice, or you're like pro-choice and now you're pro-life after watching this video. Like, let me know, I want to know. And lastly, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. Follow me on Instagram and whatnot, and until next time, bye. I found a comment on Instagram that basically sums up the debate between pro-life and also pro-choice. Like the pro-choice women said that women abort babies to go to Stanford, and then the pro-life dude said, do you know how selfish that is? Okay, because the original post was that, that unborn baby could have been a Stanford graduate or something. So again, it's like, whose life is more important? Is it the women or the unborn baby?